In the face of unimaginable hardship, one man's journey would change the course of history. Viktor Frankl, a renowned Viennese psychiatrist, lived through the darkest of times in Auschwitz, only to emerge with a profound understanding of the human spirit. At its core, Frankl's experience revealed that hope and meaning are not luxuries, but fundamental choices we make every day. Those who found ways to hold on to these values were more likely to survive, even when everything else was stripped away. They became beacons of resilience, comforting others, sharing what little they had, and refusing to surrender to despair. But here's the remarkable truth. It wasn't their circumstances that defined them. It was an inner, decisionate choice to find meaning and purpose despite the unimaginable. This transformation didn't happen by chance. It was the result of a deliberate choice to rise above the ashes. In the most desolate of places, Frankl discovered that we are not prisoners of our surroundings. We have the power to choose how we respond to adversity. Our attitude is not determined by external circumstances. It's a reflection of our inner strength and resolve. In the darkest moments, when all seems lost, human nature reveals itself in its most profound form, the unrelenting pursuit of significance. This is the core of our existence, as observed by Viktor Frankl, a powerful reminder that we have the capacity to choose how we respond to life's challenges. No matter what hardships we face, we can search for meaning and find purpose in every situation. It's not about waiting for circumstances to change. It's about living with intention, even in the midst of chaos. This is the essence of logotherapy, a school of thought pioneered by Frankl himself. As a professor of neurology and psychiatry at Vienna's medical school, Frankl's work set him apart from his contemporaries Freud and Adler. His ideas have been hailed as groundbreaking, revolutionizing the field of therapy with writings that are now considered among the most significant contributions since its inception. The life of Viktor Frankl is a testament to the power of human resilience. A renowned psychiatrist who made an indelible mark on psychology, his legacy continues to inspire and influence generations of thinkers and practitioners. In a world where suffering and hardship are an inevitable part of life, one man's remarkable story shines like a beacon of hope and resilience. Born in 1905, Viktor Frankl was destined for greatness, earning his medical degree from the University of Vienna, followed by a Doctor of Philosophy, a testament to his unwavering dedication to learning. But it was not his academic achievements that defined him. It was his unbreakable spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. During World War II, Frankl spent 3 harrowing years in concentration camps like Auschwitz and Dachau, where he witnessed the worst of humanity. Yet, even amidst such darkness, he found a way to hold on to hope. As a renowned professor, Frankl's teachings transcended borders and languages. He wrote an astonishing 30 books, translated into 23 tongues, including Japanese and Chinese, sharing his wisdom with a global audience. His academic prowess earned him honorary doctoral degrees from 29 esteemed universities worldwide, and he was in high demand as a guest lecturer on campuses around the globe. Frankl's legacy extends far beyond his impressive credentials. He founded institutes of logotherapy, which now stand as beacons of hope in every corner of the world, inspiring new generations to find meaning and purpose in their own lives. His story is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest moments, we have the capacity to choose our attitude, to find the strength to carry on, and to create a brighter future for ourselves and those around us. Today, Viktor Frankl's teachings continue to inspire, motivate, and empower people from all walks of life. His story is a testament to the human spirit's ability to overcome even the most daunting challenges, and we can all draw inspiration from his remarkable journey. Imagine a world where every individual can find purpose, meaning, and hope, even in the darkest of times. This is the legacy of Dr. Viktor Frankl, a pioneer in the field of psychology, whose work continues to inspire and transform lives around the globe. At its core, Dr. Frankl's groundbreaking philosophy is rooted in logotherapy, a form of therapy that focuses on helping individuals discover their own meaning and purpose in life. His seminal book, Man's Search for Meaning, has been widely acclaimed as a masterpiece of psychological literature, praised by esteemed experts such as Sir Cyril Burt, ex-president of the British Psychological Society. What sets Dr. Frankl apart from other thinkers is his unique approach to understanding human suffering. Unlike traditional psychotherapies that focus on alleviating symptoms, logotherapy looks beyond the surface level to uncover the deeper meaning and purpose that can be found in even the most challenging experiences. As a testament to its enduring impact, Man's Search for Meaning has become a classic in psychiatric literature, remaining remarkably readable despite being written over 6 decades ago. Dr. Frankl's timeless formula for survival is simple yet powerful, finding ways to find meaning and purpose even in the midst of overwhelming adversity. So what can we learn from Dr. Frankl's remarkable work? How can we apply his insights to our own lives? The answer lies in embracing the idea that our existence has inherent value and significance regardless of external circumstances. By discovering our own unique purpose and meaning, we can tap into a deep wellspring of resilience, hope, and fulfillment. To explore Dr. Frankl's work further, visit the Viktor Frankl Institute's website at www.bninstitute.org or log on to viktorfrankl.org, a legacy of hope. There, you'll find an extensive bibliography and wealth of resources waiting to be discovered. Imagine being guided through life's darkest moments with unwavering hope, resilience, and compassion. This extraordinary book offers just that, a profound exploration of inner guidance in times of great hardship and the transformative power of community in our shared humanity. Acclaimed author Patricia J. Williams calls it one of the most remarkable books she's ever read, praising its life-changing impact on her own journey. For Williams, Dr. Frankl's work is more than just a book. It's a guiding force that has shaped who she is today and what she teaches others. This powerful text challenges us to confront our place within the human community and the responsibility that comes with it. Its wisdom, kindness, and comfort linger long after finishing the final page, leaving an indelible mark on those who read it. Renowned author Susan Jeffers calls it a must-read, a testament to its profound influence. So what sets this book apart? Perhaps it's Dr. Frankl's unwavering honesty as he shares his raw and unflinching experiences from the depths of his own soul. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear: this book has the power to transform lives, and we would be wise to pay attention. Imagine a life where even in the darkest moments you can find meaning. For Viktor Frankl, that's exactly what he discovered during one of humanity's most devastating periods, the Holocaust. This isn't just a story of survival, it's a testament to the human spirit's capacity for hope and resilience. As Professor Gordon W. Allport notes, The Nature of Prejudice author, Frankl's memoir has a profoundly honest ring to it. It's an inspiring account that shows us how to find purpose even in the midst of unimaginable suffering. Man's search for meaning is a classic tribute to hope born out of one of humanity's darkest moments. This remarkable story has captured the hearts and minds of readers worldwide, earning praise from esteemed critics like Library Journal, an incredible individual who found something redeeming in an experience so utterly devastating. Highly recommended. Translated by il/ad. Introduced by Harold S. Kushner, Man's Search for Meaning is a powerful narrative that sets the stage for Frankl's remarkable journey. As he himself says, this memoir is a tribute to the enduring power of hope. So, if you're looking for a story that will inspire and motivate you, look no further than Man's Search for Meaning. This unforgettable tale will leave you in awe of the human spirit's capacity for hope and resilience. In a world where suffering and hardship are an unfortunate reality, one man's story stands out as a testament to the human spirit's capacity for resilience and hope. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, penned his memoir with a profound message that has resonated with readers worldwide. At its core, this book is not just about survival, it's about finding meaning. In the midst of unimaginable adversity, Frankl's own journey serves as a powerful reminder that our ability to endure even the most trying circumstances depends on our capacity to find purpose and significance. As philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche so eloquently put it, he who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow. The stark contrast between those who lost their way and succumbed to despair and those like Frankl who held on to hope is a poignant reminder of the transformative power of perspective. The prisoners who gave up on life, losing all sense of purpose, were often the first to perish. Conversely, it was those who clung to their whether faith, family, or a vision for a better future that were able to endure even the most brutal conditions. This book is not just a historical account, it's an invitation to re-examine our own priorities and values in the face of adversity. Frankl's story challenges us to reflect on what gives our lives meaning and to find strength in our convictions, no matter how difficult circumstances may seem. As we navigate our own paths through life's challenges, Frankl's words serve as a powerful reminder that even in the darkest moments, there is always hope, and that it is this hope that can sustain us through even the most trying times. So let Viktor Frankl's story be a beacon of inspiration for you. Let his resilience and determination ignite within you a renewed sense of purpose and meaning. For as he so eloquently put it, in some ways, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning. In the darkest corners of human existence, where hope seems lost and despair reigns supreme, there exists a profound truth. The medicine that can kill us is not a pill or a poison, but something far more insidious, the lack of purpose. Viktor Frankl, a man who endured the unimaginable horrors of Auschwitz, refused to succumb to this fate. Even in the midst of unspeakable suffering, he clung to his reason, finding ways to keep hope alive. His mind wandered not only to the day he would be reunited with his wife, but also to a future where he could share his insights with the world. Frankl's curiosity about survival was piqued as he observed those who managed to cling to life amidst unimaginable odds. He wondered why some prisoners were able to endure while others succumbed to disease and the brutal efficiency of the crematoria. And in this inquiry, he stumbled upon a profound question that would change his life forever. Life is not about seeking pleasure or power. It's not even about avoiding pain or suffering. It's about something far more fundamental, finding meaning. Frankel's experience in Auschwitz taught him that in the midst of unimaginable darkness there exists an opportunity to discover purpose and a life of significance. So what can we learn from Viktor Frankl's extraordinary story? That even in the most desperate circumstances, our lives are not defined by our suffering, but by how we respond to it. We have the power to choose how we face adversity, to find meaning in the midst of chaos, and to live a life that truly matters. In the face of life's greatest challenges, we're left with an essential question: what gives our lives meaning? Viktor Frankl, a renowned philosopher and Holocaust survivor, believed there are three primary sources of purpose. First, meaningful work doing something that brings us fulfillment and satisfaction. Second, caring for someone we love, nurturing relationships that bring joy and connection to our lives. And third, demonstrating courage in the face of adversity, standing strong even when the world around us is crumbling. But what happens when life throws us into the darkest of times? When we are faced with unimaginable hardship, suffering, and despair? Frankl's answer may surprise you. It's not the suffering itself that gives our lives meaning, but how we respond to it. It's in those moments of darkness that we discover our inner strength, resilience, and capacity for hope. Frankl's own experiences during his imprisonment in Auschwitz serve as a testament to this idea. Despite being stripped of everything, including his freedom, dignity, and even his loved ones, he refused to lose himself. Instead, he held on to memories of his wife, finding comfort in the love they shared. This is not just a remarkable story of survival. It's a powerful reminder that we have the power to choose how we respond to adversity. In fact, Frankl observed that even in the most inhospitable environments, there were individuals who refused to give up their humanity. They remained brave, dignified, and compassionate, a beacon of hope in the face of unimaginable suffering. And it's precisely this capacity for resilience, courage, and compassion that gives our lives meaning. So, what can we learn from Frankl's remarkable story? That even in the darkest moments, we have the power to choose how we respond. We can let adversity define us, or we can use it as an opportunity to discover our strength, purpose, and humanity. The choice is ours. Embracing inner strength, the power of choice in the face of adversity, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and powerless. But what if we told you that there's one thing that can never be taken away from you? Your freedom to choose how you react to life's challenges is a fundamental aspect of your humanity. This concept is beautifully illustrated in Arthur Miller's play Incident at Vichy, where an upper-middle-class professional man is confronted with the unimaginable, his son's arrest as part of the French resistance. Faced with the authorities, he tries to reason and negotiate, but ultimately realizes that there's nothing he can do to change the outcome. Yet, in this moment of desperation, something remarkable happens. The father comes to understand that while the situation is beyond his control, his response to it, his feelings, actions, and decisions are entirely within his power. He chooses to accept what's happened and find a way to move forward rather than succumbing to despair or anger. This profound realization is a testament to the human spirit's capacity for resilience and inner strength. It reminds us that no matter how dark the circumstances may seem, we always have the freedom to choose our response. We can choose to be victims of circumstance or agents of change. Key takeaways: your reaction to life's challenges is your choice alone. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond to it. Inner strength and resilience are not fixed traits, but skills that can be developed through practice and self-awareness. Take control of your response, so the next time life throws you a curveball, remember that your freedom to choose is always available. Take a deep breath, assess the situation, and decide how you want to respond. Will you let fear or anger dictate your actions, or will you rise above and find a way forward? The choice is yours, and it's the most powerful tool you possess in navigating life's challenges. In the face of adversity, one thing remains constant: our power to choose. It's a simple yet profound truth that has guided me through life's most challenging moments, both personally and as I've helped others navigate their own struggles. The ability to respond, not react, is what sets us apart. We all think we're in control, but the reality is life can strip away our sense of identity at any moment. Imagine being reduced to nothing more than a blank slate. Alain stands before a Nazi official, proudly holding out his credentials, degrees from esteemed universities, letters from respected citizens. He believes these will be enough to define him, but they are not. The Nazi tosses them aside, dismissing everything that once gave the man a sense of worth. "Good," he says, "now you have nothing." In that moment, the man is forced to confront the emptiness within. Viktor Frankl would say this is when we face our greatest temptation to give up and lose ourselves. But what if instead we saw an opportunity to redefine ourselves, to find meaning in the midst of chaos? When faced with a situation where we can choose, let's not default to despair. Let's choose to rise above, to find purpose in the darkness. We may not be able to control everything, but we can always choose how we respond. Discovering your true purpose beyond the 9 Tominus 5 in life. We often define ourselves by what we do, but when that identity is stripped away, a harsh reality emerges. I've seen it firsthand. People who have built successful careers find themselves lost and aimless in retirement, their sense of purpose dwindling like sand between fingers. It's not just about the work, it's about the meaning it brings to our lives. Without it, we're left feeling empty, struggling to find joy in anything else. Depression sets in as individuals become stuck at home with no direction or passion. But here's the thing, this is a fragile sense of purpose. We're not defined by what we do, we're defined by who we are. People have endured unimaginable hardships, believing that their struggles had a greater purpose to live long enough for family milestones, to share experiences with loved ones, or to contribute to medical breakthroughs. My own story is a testament to this. My experiences with pain and struggle gave weight to my ideas, and when bad things happen, but I've come to realize that true purpose can't be found in the midst of suffering. It's found in who we are when the storms subside. So, what does it mean to find your purpose? It means embracing your identity beyond your job, title, or profession. It means discovering what drives you, what sets your soul on fire, and it means taking action, pursuing that passion with courage and conviction. Don't wait until life strips away your sense of purpose. Take the first step today. Explore, discover, and define who you are beyond the 9 Tominus 5. Your true identity awaits. Exploring the human spirit, finding meaning in adversity. Imagine you're faced with unimaginable suffering, loss, and hardship. Yet, amidst such darkness, you discover a profound truth that life has an underlying purpose waiting to be uncovered. This is the essence of logotherapy, a philosophy born from the experiences of Dr. Viktor Frankl, who found meaning in the depths of Auschwitz. Frankl's own story gives his ideas an authenticity that resonates deeply. He knew firsthand the pain and grief that can consume us, but he also discovered that even in the darkest moments, we have the power to choose how we respond. By finding meaning in life, we can heal our souls and transcend suffering. This book offers two perspectives on Frankl's work, one from a psychologist's lens, the other from a clergyman's. These differing viewpoints highlight the complexity and depth of his ideas, which challenge us to look beyond our circumstances and find purpose in every experience. At its core, logotherapy reminds us that life is not just about surviving, but thriving despite adversity. It invites us to explore our own values, passions, and sense of direction, and to discover the unique meaning that can be found in every moment. So, what if you could transform your struggles into opportunities for growth? What if you could find purpose even in the midst of chaos? This book offers a powerful invitation to embark on this journey of self-discovery and to uncover the hidden treasures of the human spirit. Imagine a generation that's come to terms with the complexities of humanity, a generation that acknowledges our capacity for both good and evil and all the shades of gray in between. This is what it means to be human, imperfect, yet resilient. Harold S. Kushner's story is a testament to this resilience. A survivor of Auschwitz, he found strength in his faith during the darkest moments of his life. He recalls reciting prayers like the Lord's Prayer or Shema Israel as he entered the gas chambers, a powerful expression of hope in the face of unimaginable. Kushner's book, first published nearly a century ago, has become an unlikely cultural phenomenon. Its impact transcends borders and languages. It's been translated into 21 languages with over 3 million copies sold worldwide. This is no ordinary book. It's a reflection of our collective desire to make sense of the world around us. What can we learn from Kushner's story? How do we find solace in times of uncertainty? The answer lies not just in his words, but in the power of faith and resilience that has inspired countless readers worldwide. Imagine being asked to share your life's work with the world and receiving accolades for its success. For me, that moment never came without a hint of irony. When journalists interview famous authors, they often start by listing our credentials, followed by congratulations on bestseller status. But I've always felt a twinge of unease in those moments. You see, I don't take pride in the book's popularity. I see it as a reflection of humanity's desperation for answers to life's biggest questions. My book promises to tackle that very question: what gives our lives meaning? It's a topic that should be at the forefront of every person's mind. And yet, I'm often expected to be detached from it, simply because I've written about it. But the truth is, this book has had a profound impact on people worldwide. The first part of my book is an autobiographical account of my time in a concentration camp during World War II. It's a personal and emotional journey that sets the stage for the theoretical breakdown that follows. In essence, Part 1 validates the lessons laid out in Part 2. It's a powerful combination that has resonated with readers. When I wrote this book back in 1945, I had no idea of its enduring impact. But as I look back, I realize that it's not just about my own story, it's about the universal human quest for meaning and purpose. In a bold move, I set out to write a book without seeking recognition or fame. My goal was clear: to publish anonymously and let my work speak for itself. The tight deadline of just 9 days only added to the sense of urgency, but it also fueled my determination. As I worked on the book, I resisted the pressure from friends who wanted me to reveal my identity. Even in the original German edition, my name was left off the cover, a deliberate choice to maintain anonymity. But just before publication, I relented and allowed my name to appear on the title page. My intention wasn't to seek literary fame or accolades. Instead, I aimed to demonstrate that life has meaning even in the darkest of circumstances. To convey this message effectively, I chose an extreme setting, a concentration camp. By sharing a powerful story within such a context, I hoped to inspire others and show that even in the most miserable situations, there is hope. The stakes were high, but my goal was simple: to share a vital truth with the world. Embracing the journey to success and happiness, we've all been there, feeling stuck, uncertain, or simply tired of chasing a dream that seems elusive. But what if I told you that success and happiness aren't destinations we strive for, but rather natural byproducts of living authentically? My own journey has taught me this valuable lesson. As someone who's been fortunate enough to share my story with others through writing, I've come to realize that it's not about the end goal, but about the process. When I wrote my book without expectations or attachments, something remarkable happened. It resonated with people. But here's the thing: success wasn't a deliberate pursuit, it was an organic outcome of being true to myself. Now, as I share this wisdom with students across Europe and America, I emphasize that chasing success directly is counterintuitive. The more we fixate on achieving it, the less likely we are to experience it. Instead, focus on cultivating a deep passion for what you do and surrender to the process. Success isn't something you force or manufacture, it's an unexpected gift that arises from dedication to something greater than yourself. Happiness and success aren't destinations, they are byproducts of living with intention, purpose, and authenticity. So, let go of the need to control or dictate your path. Allow yourself to be guided by a sense of curiosity, creativity, and contribution. In doing so, you'll discover that happiness and success are not ends in themselves, but rather natural consequences of embracing life on its own terms. Take the first step towards this liberating journey. Let go of what's holding you back. Don't worry about being successful or happy. Instead, focus on living with authenticity, passion, and purpose. As we navigate life's twists and turns, it's easy to get caught up in the idea of achieving success. But what if I told you that true fulfillment comes not from chasing after it, but from living with intention? When we focus on doing what feels right rather than trying to control the outcome, something remarkable happens. Success begins to unfold naturally. Consider my own journey. As a young man growing up in Austria, I was faced with a daunting decision when Hitler rose to power. The American consulate offered me an opportunity to leave and start anew, but as I stood at the threshold of departure, I felt a pang of uncertainty. Alpod, I abandoned my parents, who were facing an uncertain fate. Would I be leaving them behind to face the harsh realities of war, or would I be taking myself out of harm's way? In that moment, I realized that success wasn't just about achieving a goal, it was about living with integrity. It was about staying true to what felt right, even when the path ahead seemed uncertain. And so I made a choice that would change my life forever. I chose to stay, to face the challenges head on, and to do what I knew in my heart was just. This mindset shift may seem counterintuitive, but It's precisely this kind of thinking that sets us free from the burdens of expectation. When we stop fixating on achieving success and instead focus on living with purpose, something remarkable happens. Our actions become guided by a deeper sense of direction. We begin to trust in ourselves, our abilities, and the natural unfolding of life. So I want to leave you with a challenge today. What is it that feels true to you? What is it that your heart is calling you towards? Don't try to control the outcome, simply take action, guided by your conscience and your intuition. Trust that success will follow, not because you're chasing after it, but because you're living in alignment with your deepest values. In the face of unimaginable turmoil, we're forced to confront our greatest fears and question our purpose. Where do we draw the line between self-preservation and responsibility? Viktor Frankl, a young man with a dream to share his life's work with the world, found himself at this very crossroads. He points, he had two options: flee to safety and nurture his groundbreaking concept of logotherapy, or stay put and care for his loved ones in the midst of desperation. The weight of responsibility hung heavy on his shoulders as he grappled with who would protect those in need. But it was a small, seemingly insignificant piece of marble that would change everything. A relic from Vienna's ravaged synagogue, brought home by Frankl's father as a poignant reminder of the past. This ordinary object became an extraordinary catalyst for self-discovery and growth. As Frankl reflected on the marble, he began to see his dilemma in a new light. He realized that even in the darkest moments there is always a choice to be made between fear and courage, between giving up and finding meaning. The question wasn't about where he was going, but how he would face the unknown. And so Viktor Frankl chose to stay, to stand strong in the face of adversity, to find purpose in the midst of chaos, and to share his message with a world desperate for hope. His story is a testament to the human spirit's capacity to rise above even the most daunting challenges. In a world torn apart by war and oppression, one man's story stands as a testament to hope and resilience. Viktor Frankl's journey is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest moments, human spirit can prevail. For Frankl, it was a small yet profound moment that forever changed his life's trajectory. As he gazed upon a worn tablet, its surface bearing only one gilded Hebrew letter, he discovered a timeless truth about what truly matters. His grandfather explained the significance of this single letter, representing one of the 10 commandments. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land. This revelation sparked a profound realization in Frankl's grandfather that family and community are the foundation upon which we build our lives. It was a turning point that inspired him to put down roots, to stay with his loved ones, and forge a new path forward. In 1992, as Frankl stood amidst the vibrant streets of Vienna, he reflected on this pivotal experience. He knew that the events of his past had forever altered his course, but also recognized the power of choice in shaping one's future. Imagine being confined behind barbed wire, with no escape from cruelty and despair, yet still finding a way to hold on to hope. Frankl's story serves as a powerful reminder that we all have the capacity to choose how we respond to adversity. We can let the darkness consume us, or we can find strength in our relationships, our values, and our unwavering commitment to what truly matters. The choice is ours. Will we honor those who came before us, or forge a new path forward? Imagine being trapped in a place designed to break you, with no escape from the daily grind of survival. This book takes you beyond the grand atrocities into the small, relentless cruelties that wore people down every day. It's a personal story, told by someone who lived through it, one of millions who suffered and struggled in these camps. We don't need to relive the biggest horrors because we know they happened. Instead, we want to explore the daily struggles of living in an environment where survival was a minute-by-minute battle. So how did people make it from one day to the next? What were their lives like, the ordinary, the mundane, and the brutal, all tangled together? This book sets out to show you what life was really like for the average prisoner in these camps. It's not about the big, well-known ones. Instead, it shines a light on the smaller camps where the real extermination took place. These stories are often overlooked, but they are just as important as the ones that made headlines. By exploring this uncharted territory, we can gain a deeper understanding of what it means to be human in the face of unimaginable adversity. In a place designed to break the human spirit, where the strong preyed upon the weak and survival was a daily struggle, there existed a world of contrasts. The epic stories of courageous prisoners and powerful capos often capture our attention, but they only scratch the surface of a more profound truth. It's not about the heroes or the privileged few who wielded power in the concentration camps. It's about the unsung sacrifices made by ordinary people, driven by a simple yet desperate desire to survive in a place engineered to destroy them. The crucifixion and mass deaths that followed are well documented, but let's not forget the countless others who suffered equally or perhaps even more. These everyday prisoners were often overlooked, their stories lost amidst the chaos of overcrowded barracks where everyone was treated as equal. But it was precisely this anonymity that made them the true targets of the capos' disdain. While these privileged few enjoyed a relatively better life within the camps' walls, many ordinary prisoners struggled to find food, forced to go hungry for days on end. The capos, however, did not treat their fellow prisoners with any more kindness simply because they shared a common status. On the contrary, they were notorious for being just as brutal, if not more so, towards those who were supposed to be their peers. The stark reality is that in this hellish environment, even the strongest among us could become oppressors, perpetuating a cycle of fear and violence that threatened to consume everything in its path. So, what can we learn from these stories? How can we begin to understand the complexities of human nature when faced with unimaginable adversity? The answer lies not in the grand narratives of heroism or power struggles, but in the quiet resilience of ordinary people who refused to give up even when all seemed lost. Theirs is a story of survival against all odds, and it's one that demands our attention, our empathy, and our respect. In the darkest corners of history, a peculiar phenomenon emerged within the confines of concentration camps. Guards, once sworn to uphold order and discipline, began to identify with their captors, even surpassing them in cruelty. The capos, as they were known, wielded an unspoken power that allowed them to mete out punishments so brutal even the SS men wouldn't dare inflict them. These chosen prisoners shared a common trait. Their personalities made them ideal candidates for this twisted role. If they failed to meet expectations, they faced immediate demotion, a stark reminder of the consequences of non-compliance. As a result, they became indistinguishable from their oppressors, both in appearance and psychology. To outsiders, it seemed as though the camp had become a strange, almost surreal community, but nothing could be further from the truth. Living in these camps was an unrelenting battle for survival. Every day, prisoners fought to secure basic necessities, food, shelter, and life itself. The struggle was relentless, with no respite from the constant threat of violence and deprivation. To put this into perspective, imagine being one of them constantly, on edge, always fighting for existence. Let's consider a specific example. A transport is announced, supposedly heading to another camp or location. But what lies ahead remains, shrouded in mystery, leaving prisoners with only speculation and uncertainty. Will it be A, chance at freedom, or merely a continuation of the cycle of suffering? The truth, much like the fate of those on board, remains unknown, but one thing is certain: for those trapped within these camps, every day is a fight for survival. In the darkest corners of human history, a sinister system emerged designed to dehumanize and destroy. But amidst the chaos, a harsh reality took hold. Survival depended on being chosen. The concentration camps were not just places of confinement, but also of selection. Those deemed unfit for labor were sent to their deaths, leaving others to fight for their lives. Imagine being forced to decide who would live or die. This was the brutal reality faced by prisoners in these camps. When the selection process began, all hope seemed lost. Prisoners turned against each other, forming alliances and competing for survival. The only thing that mattered was getting your name on the list of those spared from death. But there's a chilling twist to this story. For every person who survived, another had to take their place. The authorities didn't care which prisoners were chosen. They just needed a certain number to fill each transport out of the camp. These individuals were nothing more than numbers, not human beings with families, friends, or futures. When new prisoners arrived at these camps, they quickly understood what was expected of them: survival by any means necessary. The system was designed to break spirits and crush hope, but in the face of unimaginable cruelty, some found ways to resist, to survive, and to hold on to their humanity. Imagine being stripped of your identity, reduced to a mere number in a vast sea of humanity. This was the reality for prisoners in Auschwitz, where the brutal system relied not on names or faces, but on fear and control. Key points in this desolate place: every prisoner's existence depended on being chosen by the guards. They lost everything: documents, belongings, and even their identities. To cope, they created fake names and professions, a desperate attempt to cling to some semblance of humanity. The authorities didn't care about individual stories or circumstances, only the numbers mattered. Each prisoner was assigned a number that would become their identity in the camp. This number was brutally tattooed on their skin and sewn onto their clothing, a constant reminder of their dehumanization. In this system, fear ruled supreme. A guard could condemn anyone to death with just one glance at their number. That truth didn't matter, only the numbers did. It's a chilling testament to the power of fear when faced with an oppressive regime. But let's go back to that moment of chaos and desperation. The convoy preparing to leave, where survival was all that mattered. In those intense hours, right or wrong was irrelevant. All that counted was making it home alive, no matter what it took. In the darkest corners of human history, desperation can drive us to unimaginable lengths. When survival is at stake, we're forced to confront our own limits and make impossible choices. Prisoners in Nazi concentration camps faced such decisions daily. In exchange for their freedom, they would sacrifice a fellow inmate, essentially trading lives like commodities. The brutal reality of the Capo system revealed that only the toughest prisoners were deemed worthy of this role. But even among them, self-selection played a significant part. Prisoners began to sort themselves out, identifying who was fit for the job. Those who survived years of displacement and hardship often lost their moral compass along the way. They became willing to do whatever it took to stay alive, no matter how brutal or questionable. It's a harsh truth that only the most hardened prisoners could endure. We've all faced desperate situations where we're pushed to extreme measures, violence, theft, betrayal. We may rationalize these actions as necessary evils, but they leave scars that can last a lifetime. Those who manage to escape often attribute their survival to luck or circumstance, but what if it was more than that? We have the power to choose how we respond in crisis situations. By acknowledging our own capacity for desperation and resilience, we can begin to heal from past traumas and build stronger futures. In the darkest corners of history, there are stories that defy explanation where strength was not enough to guarantee survival. The records of concentration camps are a testament to the unimaginable horrors that took place, but behind each statistic and fact lies a personal narrative unique in its devastation. We are not here to add another chapter to this grim history book, but rather to delve into the complexities of individual experiences within these camps, to explore how people's lives were forever altered by the same traumatic event, yet in ways that are both heartbreaking and uniquely their own. For those who have walked through the gates of a concentration camp, this essay aims to make sense of what they endured, using the knowledge we've gained from their struggles. And for those who haven't been there, it's an attempt to bridge the gap between understanding and empathy. The truth is, many survivors still grapple with life today, their scars a constant reminder of what they went through. Yet, despite the best efforts of loved ones and caregivers, it can be difficult for anyone to truly comprehend the depth of their pain. We're not here to minimize or trivialize their experiences. We want to acknowledge the complexity of trauma and the struggle to find meaning in the aftermath. We'll tell these stories not as a means of reliving the past, but as an attempt to honor the memories of those who didn't make it back. And for those who did, we hope that by sharing their struggles, we can create a space for healing and understanding. Writing about personal struggles can be a delicate balancing act where vulnerability meets objectivity. As someone who has navigated the complexities of the human experience firsthand, I've come to realize that true understanding comes from within. Those on the outside may offer valuable insights, but they often lack the emotional resonance that only comes from being part of the journey. Writing this book was a challenge not just because of its sensitive nature, but also because it required me to walk the fine line between sharing my personal truth and maintaining objectivity. It's a tightrope I didn't always feel comfortable on, but as I delved deeper into the manuscript, I knew that authenticity was key, even if it meant exposing myself in ways I never thought possible. I initially considered using a pseudonym to protect my identity, but ultimately decided that honesty was more powerful. By sharing my story openly, I hoped to create something truly impactful, a book that would resonate with those who have walked similar paths and inspire others to do the same. If you're someone who has struggled to find your voice or share your truth, know that you are not alone. This book is for anyone who has ever felt like they don't quite fit in, but still yearns to be heard. It's a testament to the human spirit and a reminder that our stories have the power to heal, inspire, and connect us all. In the darkest corners of human experience, there's a phenomenon that reveals just how fragile our minds can be under prolonged stress and confinement. It's called barbed wire. Sickness, a condition that was first identified by researchers after World War I. They discovered that when people are subjected to extreme conditions, their mental states can deteriorate rapidly. This isn't just a relic of the past. We've seen it play out in other conflicts as well. The War of Nerves during World War II brought home the devastating impact of mass behavior on individual psychology. It's a sobering reminder that even in the most trying circumstances, our collective psyche is susceptible to manipulation and control. My story isn't one of privilege or expertise. I wasn't a psychiatrist or doctor in a concentration camp, but as someone who experienced life behind barbed wire firsthand, I've seen the effects of prolonged confinement on the human mind. And I want to share that with you, not to sensationalize or theorize, but to shed light on a reality that's often overlooked. Let's leave the dry theories and academic jargon aside for now. Instead, let's focus on understanding what it means to be human in the face of overwhelming adversity. The Forgotten Laborer, a story of resilience and hope. Imagine being forced to work in conditions that stripped away your humanity, where every day felt like an eternity. For me, it's a reality I lived for over 119,000 days, my entire life spent digging and laying tracks for railway lines. The grueling labor was relentless, but one particular challenge stands out: digging a tunnel without any help for a water main under a road. It was a feat that didn't go unnoticed by the construction firm we were forced to work for. They issued us premium coupons, essentially vouchers redeemable for goods and services. It took weeks to receive these tokens, and often they expired before we could even use them. But I managed to score one worth 12 cigarettes, a small victory in an otherwise bleak landscape. What struck me most about this experience wasn't the scarcity of rewards or the struggle to survive, but the resilience that grew within me. It was as if my body and mind adapted to the harsh conditions, finding ways to cope with the unforgiving environment. This realization has stayed with me long after I left those railway lines behind. As we navigate our own challenges today, let's remember that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. The human spirit can adapt, overcome, and thrive in the most unlikely circumstances. We may not have control over our circumstances, but we do have the power to choose how we respond. So let's draw on the resilience within ourselves and those around us, and use it to forge a brighter future for all. In the darkest corners of human history, a spark within us can be fanned into flame or extinguished forever. For those who endured the brutal confines of concentration camps, survival was a daily struggle, a constant negotiation with fate. The meager rations provided little comfort, but a hot meal could mean all the difference between hunger and hope. 12. Soups might seem like a paltry offering, yet it represented a glimmer of possibility in an otherwise bleak existence. But for those who toiled in warehouses or workshops, even this small solace was reserved for the select few. Cigarettes, a rare luxury, were often traded for hazardous jobs or surrendered as a last resort. Yet, when one inmate succumbed to despair and lit up on their own, it signaled a disturbing truth. Hope had been extinguished, and with it, the will to live. This was not just a matter of physical comfort, it was a psychological surrender. Studies of prisoner accounts reveal 3 distinct stages of survival. First, there's the adaptation phase, learning to navigate the unforgiving rules, finding ways to cope with the unbearable conditions. But as the days blend together in an endless blur, even this initial resilience begins to fray. So what can we learn from these stories? How do we prevent that spark within us from being snuffed out? The answer lies not just in survival, but in living in, cultivating hope, no matter how fragile, and nurturing it with every passing day. Imagine being trapped in a crowded train carriage with no end in sight to your journey. That air is thick with uncertainty and fear. You're one of 1,500 people packed tightly together, each carrying what little they could salvage from their past lives. The gray dawn light struggles to penetrate the grimy windows, casting an eerie gloom over everything. This was my reality when I first arrived at camp. The initial reaction to being admitted is overwhelming, a mix of emotions that can leave you reeling. It's common to feel shock, and for me, it started even before I was officially welcomed as a prisoner. I recall the train journey vividly. We'd been traveling for days with no clear destination in sight. The carriages were cramped with people, lying on top of their luggage, the only possessions they had left. 80 people packed into each coach, all trying to make sense of what was happening. As we traveled deeper into the unknown, our assumptions about our fate began to take shape. We thought we were headed for a munitions factory where we'd be forced into labor. But little did we know our destination held a different kind of challenge altogether. The truth is, surviving in camp requires more than just physical strength. It demands mental resilience and determination. And the next few minutes, I'll share 3 key phases of coping with hunger and fear that can help you navigate even the most daunting situations. Key points: the initial reaction to being admitted to a challenging situation is often overwhelming. Shock can be a powerful emotion even before official entry into a camp or similar environment. Mental resilience and determination are crucial for survival in difficult circumstances. As the train inched forward, a sense of foreboding settled over its passengers. The engine's piercing whistle cut through the air like a cry for help, leaving an unsettling echo that seemed to hang on forever. It was as if the weight of their unknown destination bore down upon them, a heavy load destined for disaster. The train shunted forward, slowly making its way towards a major station. But it wasn't just any station. They were headed for. The anxious passengers knew it all too well. When one of them shouted out Auschwitz, a collective gasp rose from the crowd. The name alone sent shivers down their spines. The mere mention of Auschwitz evoked images of unimaginable horrors, gas chambers, crematoriums, and massacres on an unfathomable scale. It was as if the very thought of it was too much for the train to bear, hesitant to break the news to its passengers. The reality they were facing was too dreadful to fully grasp. As dawn broke, the massive camp slowly came into view. Rows of barbed wire fencing stretched out endlessly, watchtowers standing sentinel over the desolate landscape. Auschwitz loomed before them, a haunting reminder of the atrocities that took place within its walls. We must remember and honor the victims of this tragic chapter in human history. The lessons of Auschwitz serve as a stark warning about the dangers of hatred, intolerance, and prejudice. Let us draw strength from their stories and work towards creating a world where such atrocities can never happen again. In the darkest corners of human history, scenes unfold that challenge our understanding of humanity. The streets are filled with people shuffling towards an unknown fate, their faces etched with exhaustion, their eyes vacant from the weight of unimaginable terror. The air is thick with uncertainty as shouts and whistles pierce through the chaos, leaving us to wonder what lies ahead. My mind reels with worst-case scenarios, gallows, hangings, unspeakable horrors that threaten to consume everything in their path. but we've learned to adapt too, toughen up against the atrocities that surround us. We've become desensitized to the terror, numb to the suffering. Yet, even as we steel ourselves for the worst, the reality of our situation hits home. We're not just fighting for survival, we're fighting to stay human. As we move into the station, the guards' barked orders shatter the silence, plunging us back into chaos. The ear-piercing shouts echo through every camp we visit, a haunting reminder of the terror that lurks around every corner. Those cries are like the final screams of victims, but they are also a testament to the human spirit's capacity for endurance. We've been pushed to our limits, forced to confront the darkest aspects of ourselves and humanity. But even as we struggle to stay alive, we find strength in each other. We find solace in the knowledge that we're not alone, that together we can face anything the world throws our way. In the darkest corners of human experience, an unexpected light can shine through. I recall a moment when prison doors burst open and a group of prisoners flooded in, their striped uniforms a stark contrast to my own despair. These men were no strangers to hardship. Their shaved heads and gaunt features told the story of lives worn down by adversity. But what struck me as peculiar was how well-fed they looked, despite their circumstances. It was only when I noticed the cacophony of European languages being spoken around me that I began to grasp the full extent of their resilience. Each conversation was laced with a dark humor that seemed almost twisted. I'll admit it, my optimism is a hard habit to shake. Even as the world seemed to be spinning out of control, this thought clung to me like a lifeline. These prisoners genuinely seemed happy, even laughing around here. I have to admit, I was feeling a little optimistic too. It's then that I stumbled upon an intriguing concept, the delusion of reprieve. It's when someone on death row becomes convinced they'll be pardoned just as the execution is about to happen. They cling to this hope with all their might, refusing to let go even in the face of overwhelming evidence against them. But what if I told you that this phenomenon isn't unique to those on death row? What if our minds have a natural inclination towards optimism, no matter how bleak the circumstances? It's a notion that challenges everything we think we know about human nature, and it's one that could change everything. So let's ask ourselves, what is it about humans that drives us to find hope in even the darkest of places? Is it a coping mechanism or something more profound? The answer lies not in avoiding the darkness, but in embracing its complexities.